Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you're tuning in today, chances are you're a focused learner, always looking for ways to optimize how you live and work. Let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever set this massive New Year's resolution, felt just incredibly motivated for, say, about 2 weeks, and then watched the whole shebang completely fall apart by February? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're pulling directly from Thomas Alethea's framework in 12 Steps to a Good Life to dig into a foolproof, science-backed method for permanent behavior change. We are going to stop exhausting ourselves with sheer willpower. Instead, we're going to master the art of what he calls stupidly small mini habits. So let's start with a really crucial question. Why is changing your habits literally so exhausting in the first place? For years, we've basically been told that if we just had a bit more willpower, more motivation or more discipline, we could finally lose that weight, write that book, or get our finances in order. But our source material actually validates a totally different reality. Those past failures to change, they are not a personal flaw. No way. They are a biological reality. The reason you feel so completely drained when you try to overhaul your life on day one is simply because you are fighting against the literal wiring of your own brain. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the vivid metaphor it uses. I want you to imagine yourself sitting on the shoulders of an 800-pound gorilla. That gorilla represents your unconscious mind. Now, you can make as many conscious commitments as you want. You can tap that gorilla on the shoulder and say, hey, we're going left today. We're going to the gym. But if that gorilla wants to go right, back to the couch, the gorilla goes right. Literally, nothing changes until that 800-pound gorilla is on board. To understand exactly why willpower fails us, we have to look at how that gorilla, your unconscious mind, actually operates. Think about it. Your unconscious is an incredibly fast, highly energy-efficient system. It relies heavily on automatic habits just to navigate complex daily situations without constantly burning up mental energy. And it actually has really good intentions. It's just trying to keep you safe and comfortable based on your past experiences. But because it's so efficient and deeply entrenched, it's instinctively going to fight back against massive, sudden lifestyle changes. If you try to force a completely new routine all at once, bam, your unconscious immediately triggers resistance. Which brings us to a massive myth in the self-improvement world, the number 21. Honestly, how many times have you heard that it takes exactly 21 days to form a new habit? Well, our source material completely busts this myth. While you might form a super minor habit in that short little window, true lifestyle changes definitely do not happen in 3 weeks. The reality, major changes can take nearly a year of consistent repetition, and total lifestyle overhauls, those can actually take up to 2 or 3 years. I know, that sounds super daunting. Actually, scratch that. It's incredibly freeing. It means we don't have to sprint. We just have to be consistent. And this brilliantly illustrates our way out. Just look at the contrast between the traditional goal of a grueling hour-long workout and our mini habit doing exactly one push-up. Thinking about that full workout requires you to get all pumped up, right? It triggers fear, procrastination, and basically wakes up that inner gorilla to fight you. But one push-up? The sheer relief of that tiny expectation is exactly why it works. It sounds almost silly, I know, but that's precisely why it's a total game changer. The book explicitly tells us to make our goals stupidly small or ridiculously small. This right here is the secret sauce. If a new habit takes very little effort, like less than 30 seconds to finish, there is absolutely zero mental resistance. It acts as this clever little pattern interrupt. Sure, your conscious mind might think it's a joke, but much more importantly, your unconscious mind also thinks it's no big deal, and therefore not worth fighting against. You completely bypass the 800-pound gorilla's defenses because the task is so tiny, it slips right under the radar. Okay, let's dive into this for a second, because to make these mini habits stick, we really have to look at how habits are actually formed in the brain. They always follow a simple 3-step loop: cue, response, and reward. So a situation acts as a cue or trigger, which then prompts the response or behavior and finishes up with a payoff or reward. If we want to build our new, stupidly small mini habits, we have to know exactly where to insert them into this loop. We basically need the perfect cue. So our source outlines 3 main types of habit cues you can use. First, there's time-based, like saying, I'll do this at 4 p.m. The problem? Life is unpredictable. A meeting runs late and boom, your cue is ruined. Then you have deadline-based, which gives you the flexibility to do your habit anytime before you go to sleep. Much better, for sure. But the absolute gold standard for permanent success, the one that really anchors a behavior into your life, that would be the second one, activity-based cues. And this brings us to the absolute core takeaway of today's explainer: habit stacking. Listen, this is absolutely crucial. Habit stacking is a highly specific, activity-based cueing technique. It's where you take your brand new, stupidly small mini habit and you tack it directly onto a routine you already do every single day without fail. You're basically piggybacking on the momentum of an old, established habit to permanently anchor the new behavior right into your daily rhythm. Let's move to our examples and see how this builds in the real world. Think about the routines you already have. You brush your teeth every morning without fail, right? That's a firmly established routine. So your stack becomes: the exact moment I finish brushing my teeth, I will do exactly one push-up. Or, say every morning you wait a couple of minutes for your coffee to brew. Your new stack becomes: while the coffee is brewing, I will wash just one dish or tidy the kitchen. You're seamlessly weaving that new, tiny behavior right into the fabric of what you're already doing anyway. Now, the source material also introduces this brilliant concept called hybrid habits. This adds a really cool either-or flexibility to your routine, basically ensuring you quite literally never fail, even on your absolute lowest energy days. You tell yourself, I will either do one push-up right after I brush my teeth, or I will go to the gym for a full workout. If you got the energy, awesome, go hit the gym. But if you're totally exhausted, you just fall back to that stupidly small minimum. You keep the habit alive, and you still get full credit for the day. So the crucial point is, as you start doing this, you need to be aware of a sneaky little trap called goal creep. Goal creep is that unconscious trap of thinking, well, I did 20 push-ups yesterday, so my new baseline is 20, and doing just one today means I failed? No, absolutely not. Sticking to the bare minimum is the true victory here, because it keeps the neural pathway of that habit alive in your brain. You only add extra reps or time when you're genuinely inspired to do so. The minimum mini habit is the success. There's this incredibly powerful quote from the text that sums this up perfectly. 1% beats 0%. Always look for the thing you actually can do with the energy and focus you currently do have. Those little wins absolutely pave the way for bigger wins. It's like a giant puzzle, piece by piece, over months and years. These tiny, consistent 1% efforts, these ridiculously small actions stacked onto your daily routines, they literally compound into massive, life-altering transformations. We've covered the science, we've successfully bypassed the 800-pound gorilla, and we know exactly how to stack our habits for good. So I'll leave you with this final empowering challenge. What stupidly small habit will you stack today? Will it be one stretch the moment you wake up? Just one sentence in your journal right after your morning coffee? Pick one routine, attach one tiny action, and watch your life begin to change literally today. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer, and happy habit stacking.